to the Lock Shop with Nielsen and Hustler.
All right, it's 11:01. Welcome to the Lock Shop, everybody. Thank you very much for being here. Dustin Nielsen with you. Hustle be by shortly. The Lock Shop is brought to you by our partners over at Play Alberta. Download the Play Alberta app today. Casino, sports, and lottery all in one place. And, of course, you can just go to playalberta.ca on the old desktop, and you can hop in the fun there as well. EST specials already up and running, waiting for today. What do we got here? We got the EST Champions League. I think this is what Maddie was just talking about in the Hangout. Atletico Madrid and Arsenal, both to score, boosted to plus 100. We also got this Champions League final score. Madrid and Arsenal 1-1, boosted to plus 495. We've got the early bird bet of the day, Habs, Lakers, and Flyers all to win at plus 625. And then Dusty's play of the day, Lakers to win. LeBron goes at least 26 and 6. 20 points, 6 assists, 6 rebounds. That's super chalky. It's at minus 105 because I think his actual numbers are like 25, 8 and 8. So I lowered him down a bit. Lakers on the money line tonight at home to finish off the Rockets. So all those are sitting there. The grandest. Those guys will get busy. We've got EST afternoons. So screw it. Let's do it. How close you guys coming to screw it? Let's do it last night, Hernan?
Not close at all.
Oh, really?
I don't even.
You guys were on the over in the game.
Yeah, we had a Hyman power play point. I don't think he got one. It was Bush to McDavid to Drysdale.
And McDavid to, you're right. Yeah,
no, we were.
So not close. But you know what they say? Great opportunity to bounce back today.
Of course, just like the Oilers.
Great. Well, that too.
Yeah.
You walked in today, you're pretty fired up. You bust open my office door, and I said, are you fired up about CFL or the Oilers? And you're like, they're back. They're back. They're going to win. Do you believe that deep down inside, Nanso?
I mean, why not? Like, listen, the experience factor alone going into game 6.
Now it factors in a bit, doesn't it?
The Stahl pulled. Does he bounce back? Like, again, he hasn't been great this series. The two worst goalies in the playoffs right now are Ingram and Dostal in terms of numbers.
Technically, I think Dostal will now be worse.
Yeah, I think he's taking the last spot now.
Yeah.
So, good start for the Oil. Hated the third. Too much sitting back. But we've seen teams do that in the past. So, listen, Dusty, tomorrow it's just go in there, don't have a lag in the second, start like you did in game 5. And I listen, man, if they can get that one, I think we'll be talking second round.
You think so?
Yeah. You can't recover from that if you're.
It would be tough
Ducks.
for a young team like the now veteran coach and some veterans in the lineup.
Sure,
but coming back to Edmonton, the place is going to be absolutely mad. The others know they're on the verge of something, accomplishing something that this group actually hasn't accomplished so far. So we'll see.
And I heard Rashog on your show earlier, and like he's right. He's like, this team, tons of experience, back-to-back finals. They just can't do it the easy way.
Yeah,
it's always the hard way.
It's a scary way.
It's the scary way.
Because like one or two bad bounces in game 6, even if you play great, you can be like, damn it. Like this was our best game, but there was 2 bad bounces and we lost.
But every time we're ready to write them off and get into the summer, Dusty, and do the off season, they always suck you back in. It's like, oh, okay, we're going to play today. We're going to show you what we can do.
Yeah.
And again, that wasn't a full 60 minutes by the Oilers.
No, it wasn't.
No,
it wasn't. But they defended well enough and didn't have any major blunders.
That's the thing.
Which is a big difference, right?
Yeah.
That's a big difference for them.
You have to be, I think, like tomorrow for me, I'll be honest, Dustin, it's a toss-up. I mean,
so. Is that what you're feeling, eh?
Yeah, like I think it's, hey, man, it's which goalie's going to make the extra save, which power play is going to score, who can kill a penalty.
Which is kind of how it should be come playoff time. Like, it's true. We'll get into that with Huss. Huss was one of the few people who were like, I'm not letting the Oilers, like, he's on. Oh, he's in. He was all over the Oilers last night. So that was good. Hernan, you're done with the Canadian Football League?
It's getting closer and closer.
Hernan and I had about a 20-minute discussion on the changes to the CFL. That I had a lot of fun in that conversation.
It was great, and voices were raised, but not in a bad way.
No, like in a funny way.
In a funny way, and then Trev went into the office and locked the door. He got a little scared.
Eric had his door shut.
Eric wanted no part of it.
We were just sitting on the couch over there, and I listened to Hernan just continue to say how much he hated it, but listed off a lot of good positives.
No,
from
but
it, too.
not for me, but for the owners and for the like, not for me. I just listen, man. I love the CFL, man. I've been a fan of the CFL since I was a kid, and I love it. And I listen. I know when you get as old as I do, the changes are gonna come. I just think there's too many right now. Like the league was fine. It's not going to die, no matter how many people down south say it's going to die because of UFL and the XFL. The CFL's not going anywhere. Do they need new fans, Dusty? Yes. Is this going to help? I'm
Don't worry, I got the new fans taken care of with the CFL Fantasy.
Hopefully.
Right? The CFL Fantasy from EST and Maddie and Eric and our league. They were emailing me about it yesterday. Now, I will say this. I'll be very disappointed if they roll it out and it sucks. Like I told them when we were on the call the first time, I said, if we're going to do this, like you got to do it right. It's got to be good. Like it's got to be done right.
Yeah.
But I think that's a good way to get some younger people playing.
Right?
Yeah.
No one wants to deal with.
No, I think it'll be pretty simple. I mean, it's hard to overcomplicate fantasy football in what it'll be a 6-man league.
So I run, right? So I went running this morning.
I didn't know.
I went running this morning, and I ran into.
How far did you run today, buddy?
I did about 50-minute run.
That's good.
So I ran into my buddy, the equipment man, Dan.
Oh, running.
Yeah. Well, he was working out.
Okay.
He was working out.
You're at a gym.
I was ready to leave, and I saw him pumping some iron. Went to say hi. And I was like, how's it going? He's like, you know how this time is. It's crazy. Like, it's the week before. He's getting all the jerseys, all the numbers ready. And I was like, man, I missed that rush of like the week before training camp. You're not
telling me you're going back to the Elks.
No.
Man,
I don't think they'd
quite the way to drop that on me.
No. I'm just saying like that the days the week before training camp starts it was crazy busy, but it was fun, man. You get to meet the new guys and everybody's rolling in, and
Was that your favorite time of year? Like draft into the beginning of training camp?
One of them, yeah. That's when it got real. You're like, holy crap! Like I have no time to do anything until November. Right? Like seriously.
Once you get going, you're all in.
Yeah, you're all in. So it's good to see him, and it's great. I'm hoping to get down to some practices and see the boys and see what the team looks like.
I worked for a baseball team for 2 summers, and in baseball, it's like a game every day. Like that. That's like game day every day.
Yeah, that's fun too. Though.
I mean, it's fun until you've gone 10 days with a game, and then you finally get a day off. Like, then you're like, this is a pretty good job. But then like in day 8 of 10 straight, you're like, what are we doing?
And then he rubbed it in a little bit more. He goes, we go to Kelowna this year in Victoria. I'm like, son of a.
Yeah, that's pretty nice.
Man, that's pretty sweet.
That's pretty nice.
They'll be at Clark though for most of training camp, right? Because of the soccer and all that.
Preseason action there too and stuff. So that'll be a little bit of a different experience too.
Oh, 100%, right? 100%.
Well, and of course, the playoff formats changes don't start until next season.
Yeah, Doug Dad, not a fan, says, get this fool off the sidebar. Ooh,
man, he hates Stu Johnston.
Just leave the CFL alone, bro. That's all I ask, man. After this, no more damn changes, or I'm going to lose it.
I think he was probably hired to come in and make significant changes. That was probably his directive.
Okay. But not as many as he made, man. Like, come on.
They are. I mean, the league, those who run the league are obviously have his back. Like all of the board of governors clearly support this guy.
Of course, because it's more.
Well, that's what we're talking about.
Okay.
That's what we always say. The league needs to generate more revenue. That's what they're going to do. It doesn't have to be ideal. We can say it looks Bush. Well, a lot of people say making 16 of the 9 right now looks Bush.
And I always defended
more
the
Bush,
CFL.
I guess.
But now it's definitely Bush League. Come on. One team misses the damn playoffs.
I told you when we were sitting there having our very lively... Zacticum comes in, he goes, you guys should have had a mic on this. We could have put it on the air. I told you, you're going to love the playoffs way more than before.
I know Huss a little bit. I met him once in Winnipeg. I'm pretty sure Huss is on my side, though.
Probably. I think, well, let's bring the man in. Man, the myth, the legend. Mr. CFL in Winnipeg. Huss joins us. Huss, what's up, my man? How you doing?
Fellas.
Oh, you're muted, Huss.
Oh.
I think you're muted. I don't think it's our end. Is it us? Okay, he's going to reconnect, I think. It's not our end there. Yeah, so he wasn't muted at all. All right, we will get Huss back in. Boy, I really thought he was going to come in with a CFL hot take there. Maybe he did. Maybe he saved it. We'll get him back. All right, 780-218-9999, 780-218-9999. Troll is in and says, how long until they finally kill the league and bring it in 4 downs? That's when I'll tap out. Man, I'll say this. If they go to 4 downs, I mean, part of my career is based around that league, but I too might check out at that point. I don't think they could ever get there. There we go. Huss, what's up, man? How you doing?
Not much, fellas. Chat, what's going on, nasties? Ye of little faith. What did
You
I
were the
tell
guy. You said it yesterday. I'm not leaving these Oilers. Yeah. Well played, Huss.
And very impressive win. And I got to tell you, nice to be able to lock down a lead for once. Kind of wild to see McDavid playing not even at center, but playing on the wing, on his own line. But hey, they got it done. Anyways, we'll get into hockey. I heard you guys talking before. Now, it was sort of wild because we finished the lock shop yesterday. I was just about to go on live, and all of this stuff hit. So
You're taking it in live.
I was taking it in live. And the one thing that I said that I didn't want to do was just fire from the hip with a bunch of hot takes on immediately looking at it and then regret it. So we just sort of went over, okay, this is what they're telling us. I still kind of wanted some clarification as to how things were going to work. Does this change the schedule or anything? First things first, moving up the schedule into the May long weekend, no brainer.
Yeah.
I can't imagine there's anybody that's resisting that change. It is long overdue. It's happened basically over the last few years that we've gone from July 1st to May long weekend. It just makes too much sense. Well done. Good for the fans. Good for the teams. No downside. The new playoff format, now that I've had 24 hours, it's an abomination.
An abomination. Wow.
Listen, it's a joke. I mean,
is it the 8 of the 9 teams in, or is it the playoff format itself? Because I think you could separate the two a little bit.
Put it this way. The 8 of the 9 teams, I mean, to me, we have an 18-game regular season. Like, unless you're going to take this thing down to 12 games or 14 games, and then you want to add more playoff style competition, then I guess maybe. But to me, it completely takes a lot of the juice out of the 18-game season. There is not a huge reward for winning your division through 18 games, far less now. You got to play that first game against the two teams. In a lot of cases, we'll probably see basically the same matchup in the first and the third week of the playoffs, which if you just beat the team 2 weeks ago, should you really have to beat them again? But I'm actually sort of stunned that they're doing this. Now, you made a good point. Listen, the job of the commissioner is to find out new revenue ways and all that. And I guess the playoff games, as far as TV properties, might be more valuable than regular season games and all that. And I guess I have time for it. But I mean, the CFL did not need a curling plage payoff.
I mean, when you say it that way, it's not a great look.
It isn't. And I mean, the only way that I would really be on side for this is if the halftime of the Grey Cup included a public humiliation of the 9th place team that didn't even make it into the playoffs.
A public firing of the head coach of the 9th place team every year at the Grey Cup.
You know what it is? The 9th place team has to work as like riggers and staff for the halftime show. So basically, if the Hamilton Tiger Cats miss the playoffs, you're going to see Bo Levi Mitchell and a bunch of the guys pushing the stage out from behind and then they're basically crew. That's what you sign up for now in the CFL. You better be in that top 8, because if not, you're working Grey Cup weekend, halftime, join the union.
Okay, so same boat as you yesterday, because it was announced right when I was going on with 2 guys and a goalie. So Maddie and Hernan were kind of throwing me the tidbits of what was going on and expanded to 8 playoff teams. And then, so I kind of brought up the bracket and tried to wrap my head around it. Now, I can't argue 8 teams out of 9 teams in the playoffs doesn't look good. Like, that's, of course it doesn't. Yeah. It doesn't look good. Okay. Now, I think a couple of things are happening here. I think the playoffs will be better. I mean, if we want to talk, a lot of people use the term Bush League. I mean, you could make a case that having to win one playoff game to get to your championship is also Bush League. If you finish first, you have to win one game to get to the championship. Right?
Yeah, well, guess what? To the winner, the National Football League, you're the first place team. You have to win 2. It's a 32 team league. Like, sorry, we don't have 32 teams. The scale.
Yeah, well, maybe we should look at that and say it should be more challenging too. I mean, like 2 wins out of 32 to get there. I mean, it's football. It's different. It's not like I'm saying play a best of 7. I'm just thinking I've heard people say before that the CFL playoffs are Bush League because you have to win one game if you're the number 1 seed to get to the championship game. Right. So now that road will be a little bit more difficult.
I haven't heard much of that. To me,
I've heard that before. I've also heard people say that it's already Bush League with 6 of 9 teams making the playoffs. So it's a little more Bush League, I guess. Now, I do think the one area that's being a little bit exaggerated is how meaningless the regular season is going to be. I think that's an easy thing to say now, but playoff seeding is going to matter in this format. Like, I don't think somebody's just going to be like, you know what? We're going to be the 4 seed. That's okay. We'll just be the 4 seed. If you're the 4 seed, you're going to have to beat this. Or if you're the 8 seed, if you're the 8 seed, you're going to have to beat the 5 seed on the road. Then you have to beat the number 1 or 2 seed on the road. Then you have to beat the other number 1 or 2 seed on the road just to get to the Grey Cup. So I just don't think teams are going to mail it in after 12 weeks if they're in the playoffs. Like I think that's an easy thing to look at, but I just don't like these football players that have been around for the last 7 years are not just going to mail it in for the final third of the season because they've secured a playoff spot. Like finishing first and having the possibility of 2 home playoff dates is going to be massive for these organizations, right? And I don't know. I think when we get to week 18 and 19, a lot of people are going to be like, the CFL regular season means nothing right now. And I don't think that's going to be the case. I think you're going to have, like right now, how many times this year did we have a good team versus a team that's already eliminated in week 17 or 18? And that game means nothing for the team that's out of it. And it means everything for the team that's battling for playoff position. Now that game could possibly mean something for a team that's battling for playoff positioning in the 5, 6, 7, 8 seed. So I think I'm not going to say it's perfect, but I think everybody who's just like the regular season is completely meaningless is probably going to be surprised later into next season.
Let me ask you this. You're a fan and, your team's looking good all season long. You're thinking about the Grey Cup. You're thinking about the playoffs. Are you even fired up, showing up like for the first playoff game where you're not even out if you lose? Like knowing that you're just right back at home.
If you're the 1 or 2, if you're the 1 or 2 seed.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you're a season ticket holder. I'll ask you, are you going to not go to the Bombers game if they're playing the 1-2 seed?
Well, put it this way. Before there was always like the playoff game. I mean, if you were hosting the first week, then you were obviously, if you're good enough to win, you're on the road the second week. I mean, now you've got this first game and you don't know if you win, you play again at home in 2 weeks. If you lose, you play at home the next week. So, like there's no, it's the playoffs, but there's no elimination. So, I mean,
do people not go to game 1 of a best of 7 series? It's a playoff game. Right? It's all part of the postseason. Like, you're going to want to be there, right? It's not like it's people only show up to elimination games.
A football playoff where you can lose a playoff game?
No, I don't think there's anything like, no, there hasn't. It sounds ridiculous, but at the same time, think about you're the team that loses that game. And then you go win a game, and then you get another shot at that team. Like the buzz around that fan base, getting another crack at a rival that they just lost to in a small league like this, I think there'll actually be a ton of hype for the rematch game. I think it'll be insane.
I mean, Well, hopefully there will be.
I don't know why there wouldn't be.
Point,
right? Why wouldn't there be?
You have to beat a team twice in the playoffs to get to the Grey Cup.
You know, that part of what they could have done, I guess it wouldn't work because people would just imagine the playoffs anyway. But Scott Hutter, who played in the league, and the players are all a part of this too, right? I know they're not all going to love it, but you know, the players signed off on this because it means more money in their pockets as well. Scott Hutter, I thought, made an interesting point. He goes, just like, think about this. If we told you the final week of the regular season, you had the Bombers and Riders playing for first place in the division, and then the other games that were happening that week were also meaningful to get a spot in the playoffs. We'd be like, this is the greatest final week in CFL regular season history. Now we just get that in what they're calling the first week of the playoffs, which is kind of, it looks ridiculous, but the drama that's going to be there is going to be pretty incredible.
Do we know, like, I'd love to know what the financial benefit of all of this is.
Well, it's got to be significant, I think.
If you had reduced the regular season to 16 games from 18 and played an even schedule, I could probably wrap my head around this a little bit.
Play everybody twice and then
play everybody twice, so it's a completely even schedule. Like, here's the thing. If you're playing, say it's Bombers Riders, and they're playing 3 times during the regular season, and then you could have 2 playoff matchups against the same team. Like, how many times do you, like, you have a regular season where you have these games that are supposed to be important. I'm just not sure that the juice of the regular season, what you were really competing for, isn't diminished greatly because you have that out. Not to mention, I mean, winning the division was so huge because you got a bye. You didn't have to play that week, and the other teams did, and they came to your barn. Like, to me, the CFL regular season meant so much because the prize for surviving 18 games and winning your division was massive. I mean, you've earned a huge advantage to be a representative for the Grey Cup.
But now could we say it's huge to finish second as well? And the battle for the top 2 spots, including from whoever's fighting in third to get up into second, because you get to play in a game for a bye, right? As opposed to, instead of first spot being such an advantage, the top 2 spots are actually such an advantage. You have to play, but you'll get to play for a chance to get into the semifinal.
Yeah, and I mean, you get the out. I just mean that, like, in a league that's so small, I mean, does the second place team in the East, I mean, you know, in a 4-team division, do we really need to say, okay, it's the top half of teams that are going to be in that spot? I mean, listen, we know why it's happening, and
it's happening for money, right? And
yeah,
I mean, we talked about the CFL for 10 years going, they got to find a way to generate more revenue. They've identified that increasing your playoffs by 40% is going to increase more revenue for you, right? It's just, this is how they're going to go about doing it. It's not ideal.
I would love to
I think it's probably just, I think the regular season hate is going to be a little bit, or it's being a little bit exaggerated. I think it's still good. I think it's still going to be meaningful.
Well, listen, we love going to the games and it's great to have them all. Just I mean, man, like that late season game between the Lions and the Riders that had so much important because it was going to determine who wins the division. Now is like, whatever. Oh, they're going to be playing the game at BC, or I mean, you're talking home field, and
home field is important though. I mean, home field's important, right? Seating is important. It's not a nothing. It's not a nothing game. I think there would be fewer. I think there will be fewer nothing games, but some of the stakes of certain games might not be as high.
Yeah. I mean, I just can't wait till, we're getting into week 17 and we've got the 5-11 Ticats going up against the 4-12 Elks. And all of a sudden it's a huge game because this is going to determine.
But that is all of a sudden a more meaningful game than it would have been last year. Right now, Elks fans will care about that game a little bit more. So,
yes,
right? There would be seating on the line 5 through 8, which should put more eyes onto that game than would have been if you knew both of those teams were completely not going to have a chance to win the Grey Cup.
Do you want a 5-13 team in your playoffs?
I watch 7-win teams play in the NFL playoffs, and I don't get to sit here and bitch about it.
And that's absurd.
But the league still exists, and it's not the end of the world. I would rather have kept it at 6. I'm saying I would have rather kept it at 6. Yeah. I just think the instant hate for it is within 18 months or 24 months is going to be dialed back. I think people are you're going to have 89. You have 89% of the teams in the playoffs. Gross look. You know what I do like? 89% of fans being involved in a playoff game somehow and having something to care about. So, not ideal. And the 8 seed will play a 5 seed, which, and I don't know if this was clarified. So, because there's a reseeding, right? They're going to do reseeding. So, if let's say you're the number 2 team in the West.
Yeah.
And you lose to the number 1 team in the West, but the number 2 team in the East also loses and has more wins than you in the reseed, it's going to be possible that it won't necessarily be a matchup. Like they could end up, based on the seeding, play the team on the other side of the bracket. Is that how it would be? Because they said there's a reseeding after every round. So
yeah, I think based on what you just said, I think that is possible.
I'm not sure. I know there's a reseeding. I just don't know if it would impact the people who lose the division showdown game.
So you'll have presumably those will be your 1 and 2 seeds.
Yeah.
But they'll still have their record. But those teams, if you win the 1-2 game,
you move into the semifinal.
Game.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's at your barn. I will say one good thing about that is that it will give teams, well, it's no different than right now. If you win the regular season, you have the bye and you have 2 weeks to sell the West Final. So actually that doesn't change. That doesn't change at all. But yes, so you've got 8, 5, 7, 6. So let's just say that the 1 seeds win. And then the elimination game in the West is 2 versus, let's say the 8th place team wins their game. So it's 2 versus 8. Or I guess it would call it 3-4 because that's the one thing. It's confusing because it's not 1-4-2-3. It's 1-2-1-2.
Yeah.
And then once those teams are out, I guess there's then a reseeding.
It would be a reseed, right? So if the number 1 seed in the West is the number 1 seed overall in the league, and then 2 and 3, or like 2 is or let's say the number 2 seed in the league is also the 2 seed in the West, then after they lose, I wonder if with the re-tier, that number 2 seed in the West that lost, do they become the number 1 seed on the other side of the bracket because they're going to reseed after the rounds?
Well, you couldn't be the 1 seed on the other side because that's already determined by the first game.
Okay, yeah, I guess from the seeding perspective, I was wondering if they're going to re-rank it just off records, but I guess it would be on the seed over there.
Let's say the East was terrible, and the Argos win the East at 11-7. Let's just say. Yeah. And the West ended up being a 3-way tie at 12-6. And based on the tiebreakers, it's the Bombers and the Lions that are playing in that division showdown. Well, the Riders would actually then have to play like the play-in game as the 5 versus 8.
Yeah.
They would move on. I would imagine that they would play the lower ranked of the 2 teams that won in the first round.
Yeah.
So, for instance, but I don't think
so then the Riders could go play the Argos, who won the other side over on the other side. Like I know for a fact that it does allow West teams to play in the Grey Cup because of the reseeding.
Yeah.
Right. So
yeah, exactly.
Well, we'll see. We'll see how it goes. I don't know. Is there anything else? Anything? I think that's probably. What was the reaction like in Winnipeg, man? What were you guys? I mean, would have been.
I mean, it was not great. I mean, put it this way. I think people very pumped. Like, this is a market that's going to. I mean, they already sold out all their games, but I think it is going to really benefit fan experience, everything. Just, with this moving the schedule up. I mean, I guess. Do you think this is for sure going to happen? Like, the more I thought about it last night, like, and I guess that because it's not for this year.
No, it's for 2027. Yeah.
So I get it. You bring in commissioners, and he mentioned this. Like, it's so funny. Was it his introductory press conference? Like, he gave clues to things that he wanted to do in that first press conference. We should actually go back and listen to it
and dive into it a little bit. See if he's checked all those things.
He mentioned the goalposts there.
Yeah.
Like, he dropped on that. And I think there might have been something about a team only having to win one game to get to the Grey Cup. And maybe that was part of the master plan. Hey,
he might have said that, actually. You're right.
Yeah.
I think he did.
I think so.
It kind of rings a bell now.
So now it's just the Stu Football League. It's all of the things that he's been thinking of is coming to fruition. And we'll see. I mean, I guess at the end of the day, I think that the juice isn't worth the squeeze on this unless it's just a windfall that makes the league completely successful. And I just don't really see how that happens.
I think it's got to be tied into expansion, man. They must be looking at it going, hey, let's go 8 of 9, and then it's going to be 8 of 10, and then in 10 years, it's going to be 8 of 12. And that would probably, and maybe they're just trying to get ahead of it so they can go to some of these expansion partners and be like, look, here's where we're headed with the playoff format. There's going to be playoff revenue to be had. I mean, that's got to be, whether it's in the cards right now or not, it's got to be part of the long-term goal, I think. So we'll see. We'll see where it goes. Out of nowhere, though. Like, out of nowhere. I had a pretty good heads up on everything else that was going to be happening, like when he rolled out all the crazy changes. Yesterday was just a bombshell out of nowhere, which I thought was... He's got balls. I mean, he's got big old brass balls to be dropping some of this stuff so quickly in his tenure. And we'll see if it pays off. But if it goes 4 downs, I'm done.
Yeah,
I'm done. Well, that's it. There's no defending that. That can't happen.
The CFL.
Yeah, you're right. At that point, it's not the CFL. It's not the CFL at that point.
Whatever you want. But
yeah.
Basically it is. You know what's going to be cool though, and I think like the Labor Day weekend has been so amazing for the league. And we saw what happened around Thanksgiving. Now, Thanksgiving is going to be playoffs.
Yep.
Like, this is going to end. Like,
it ends before Remembrance Day. Like, Grey Cup will be before Remembrance Day now.
The semifinals, formerly the West and East final, is going to be like heading into Halloween. So your elimination games will be, like the 22nd, 23rd, something like that, which probably means the round 1 of the playoffs. It's either week 18 is Thanksgiving weekend, or it's the first week of it's the Thanksgiving Day weekend.
Yeah.
But May long weekend opening up is going to be phenomenal.
You know what? I might be the only person in the country who doesn't like it. Because May long weekend's like my last weekend, usually with my family, before I'm gone for 5.5, 6 weeks or 6 months. So well, I know. That's why I said I'm probably the only guy, but I'm like, damn it. May long weekend. And then usually after May long weekend, I go on a golf trip right before the season. Now the golf trip's going to be jammed between weeks 1 and 2 or weeks 2 and 3. And I liked it the way it was, but I mean, I get it. I understand it. May long's a great time to kick off the season.
Imagine you didn't have the job that you have. And you liked going to your.
Well, we would go to the game then. I mean, we'd be at the game with the Elks.
What would you rather do? Go to a game with the excitement, the feel of spring in the air, even if it's 8 or 9 degrees around May long weekend? Or would you rather go with that same temperature, but the feeling of fall in the air?
Good point.
Before going into it. I mean, your mindset is so much different in the spring. And like I've thought for years, like, okay, training camp's going on. Like, let's get on with this. Everyone wants to get out. Everyone wants to do things. Kicking off the week off of it around then will be awesome. And listen, it'll be challenging at some point. There'll be people that traditionally go away on those weekends, and I get it. Maybe we see more Thursday and Friday games for that long weekend, or maybe they move a game to the Monday, the Victoria Day Monday. They do. I won't dispute at all what they've done when it comes to scheduling good TV properties and getting it up. So I think they know what they're doing on that. To me, this is actually more about fans in the stands and getting out. And I think a kickoff to that point, and then something really cool around the July long weekend and Canada Day, featuring, celebrating the Canadian Football League works well. So there was a lot of that stuff with the schedule that I loved. Now here's a question. We had the draft last night. The draft now moves.
It'll move ahead of the NFL draft. Yeah.
It will be. So you're going to be picking guys before you know if they're in the mix.
So we had Naylor on this morning about this.
Yeah.
And he got, Naylor's very much in tune with all the draft stuff. He said at first, he's like, oh, this could be a bit of a train wreck. But then he also said, and this is a pretty valid point, like NFL draft prognosticators right now are so good. And CFL teams will know which guys are going to be drafted in the NFL. They probably have a pretty good lean on which guys are probably going to get the undrafted free agent contract. Yeah. So I don't think it's as much of an end of the world for the draft as it originally looks like. It'll just be a little bit more homework and knowing what the plan of some of these guys. Like you're telling me they're not talking to an agent going, hey, your guy going to end up getting picked in the NFL? It's going to impact where we're going to take him here. And they'd be like, yeah, he's getting interest. He's probably going to be a second day pick. He's going to be a third day pick. So it's not ideal. Don't get me wrong. But I think there's enough knowledge, not about the CFL draft, but there's enough knowledge about the NFL draft that CFL teams should be able to plan appropriately for their draft.
I think it's a good point. You pretty much know that whether a guy's picked in the 6th or 7th round or whether he's a UDFA, if he is set there and he's playing in the States and he's set on the NFL, he's probably going to a bunch of mini camps. He'll be trying to make the NFL.
You're not going to get him for 2 years at least anyway, right?
Or even 1 year. I mean, you can turn around quickly. I mean, Elgersma is a good example of a guy that, if he said, hey,
Huss just freeze. Huss just froze. He'll reconnect. He'll be back in just a second. That was a quick freeze. We will get to the NHL slate tonight. Sorry, there you are. You're back. I was just going to say, we'll get to the NHL. But what were we going to say, Huss? Wrap on what were we going to say there?
I was just going to say that, to your point, they've got a good idea about where these, like how long it will take. Like in Elgersma, if Elgersma had said, you know what, I just want to play in the Canadian Football League coming out of U Sports, he probably would have been at the top of the draft. But everyone knew that he was going to the States, had a chance maybe of sticking around. So that's why he ended up being a second rounder. Speaking of which, got to shout out the big guy, Vaccaro from Winnipeg, first overall. It's funny. I got a little tricked by the 3 Down Nation draft prospects, and he was at number 11 on the list. But they did say that this was the one guy that is definitely going straight to the Canadian Football League. I mean, he played at the U of M. He had the 1 year at Purdue last year where he played some, but not a ton. And it said, hey, I'm in on this. So first overall, I was kind of thinking the Bombers might be able to get him at 4.
Yeah.
But that wasn't the case. And any excitement around what the Elks do?
I mean, they took a linebacker with the 3rd overall pick, and we didn't have much time this morning after a Game 5 stay alive win. Yeah. We snuck in Naylor to talk about the changes because they're significant. But I know some people are like, why would they take a linebacker? They're actually pretty strong at linebacker. Yeah, but if DeBlanco's going to be one of their starting linebackers and he's a Canadian, I think you want to be strong in that position behind him as well. So that's probably the reasoning for the linebacker at 3.
They move guys around too. I mean, sometimes those guys end up in the secondary. There's certainly special.
Yeah, if you have
players.
a cover linebacker, he can play safety or a halfback for you too, right? So they'll move guys around in that spot. By the way, Brady Oliveira has chimed in on the 8 of 9 teams on Twitter about 55 minutes ago. He was quote tweeting Milt Stiegel's tweets from yesterday because Milt was very much on board. I think.
Said all the players want the extra game.
Yeah, Brady Oliveira says 8 out of 9 teams in the Canadian Football League playoffs takes away from what makes those games special. Playoff football is supposed to be earned. If anything, grow the league by adding more teams, not the number of automatic spots. So there's Brady Oliveira opposed to it. But also, once again, he points out if you want to grow the league by adding more teams, which I think has probably got to be the plan with this. Like, I don't think we're going to sit here for the next 15 years and just watch 8 of 9 teams make the playoffs. There's got to be more. There's got to be more coming over the next 5 years.
I mean, some would say, don't put the what is it, the horse before the carriage, or the other way.
Yeah,
around.
you're going to say expand and then do your playoff picture.
You want to expand and get us that 10th team? Sounds good. The other great thing about, like, once we get to a 10th team is that at that point, you can literally just abolish the divisions if you want.
If you want,
because it'd be a perfectly even schedule. You get a home game and you get an away game against every team. And as I said, if they went and did that right now, where you're taking away one, I mean, unfortunately, you'd be taking away a home date from every team. I'd love to hear what Wade Miller has to say. Like, if you pumped them up with truth serum. Because this is a scenario where if you, like, say you're the Bombers, you've been really successful a long time, you win the division. Well, now you don't just get the West Final. You got to play that first game. But in a lot of cases, those good teams will get one extra playoff home date because they'll win the first game and then they'll have the second game at home, albeit maybe against the same team 2 weeks later. So I mean, I think Wade, as a former player, probably has some strong feelings like Brady, like, okay, wait a second, what are we playing for? But then as you transition from player to head of an organization, realizing that what the windfall would be from that extra game, maybe all of a sudden you're a little bit more on side. I would love to know, like, just how this was worked out and what the sales pitch to everyone to get on, because I think most of the players would say this sounds kind of weird.
The players had to be a part of it, though, right? They said the NHL and the PA, or the CFL and the PA are announcing this together. So, all right, let's slide over, Huss. We got about 10 minutes left. We got 3 games in the National Hockey League tonight. We got Game 5 of the Habs and Lightning. Tampa Bay at home, -161 favorites on the money line. Philadelphia Flyers getting a third crack at finishing off Sidney Crosby and the Penguins. The Flyers are -118 favorites at home. And then the Vegas Golden Knights, after getting Game 4 in overtime, return home, and they are -161 favorites at home in Game 5 against the Mammoth. How does this board look to you tonight?
Well, I am so intrigued at this Pittsburgh Philly game. I mean, dude, the pressure on the Flyers to get this done tonight is going to be intense for a team that does not have a lot of experience playing in the playoffs. And I think we've seen some of that veteran moxie from the Crosbys and Malkins to get Pittsburgh back into this series. Now, I am fully pulling for Pittsburgh. Like, I want Game 7. So, like, I lean that way, but I think it's maybe a little bit more of a heart over a head pick, because I think Tocchet's going to have his guys ready to go tonight. The bottom line is this series has been so close. All of these games have been tight for the most part. So I think that we're going to be on the edge of our seats in the third period on this one. It wouldn't even surprise me if this one went to
overtime. Yeah, I had a feeling you were talking yourself into that conversation.
For sure. So, I mean, to me, I think it's a coin flip. Obviously, Philly's got a little bit of a favorite for being at home, but my heart is certainly saying Pittsburgh. I could see this game going either way.
I think the Penguins are going to force 7, man. It's not just Sid. I mean, there's a veteran group there that, and I mean, the confidence, not that Shelovs has not had to stand on his head yet. He's been good though, right? Like he's been good. Flyers are going to be going to this game being like, well, we haven't beaten this guy just yet. So, I mean, you are right. I mean, there's a reason it's minus 118 and plus 100. It's essentially a coin flip between these two teams. But I think the momentum behind a veteran group led by Sidney Crosby can certainly continue. And I actually don't hate the overtime play. I'll probably sprinkle overtime just on its own as well. So
little draw. I mean, what do we think about overtime in the Montreal Tampa game?
Well,
a double dose of overtime.
Just 2 overtimes. We just nothing against Vegas and Utah, but just overtime in Montreal, Tampa, overtime in Pittsburgh, Philly. What would that number be?
It'd be pretty big because usually the draws are around 3-1, a little bit more.
Yeah, the draw in the Habs Lightning game is plus 325. And then, I mean, probably a very similar number in this. Well, no, it'd probably be a little bit of a lower number. Yeah, plus 316. If we were to just roll two overtime games tonight, it's plus 1668. We got to do that anyway. We should make that a thing anyway. Yeah. And if we want something else, we do something else. But I think we got to throw that up anyway. We can't not get it up now, just in case it happens.
No, for sure. The fact that we got a little piece on double OT early on, sweating them both out. What about Utah's chances tonight? Like, they've been so close in this series. They could easily be up 3-1.
I think the value on Utah is very much playable. Like,
if you had to bet one of the two, like, we'll take the Pittsburgh Philly out, but the lines are basically the same. Who do you think has a better chance of winning money line, whether it's OT, it doesn't matter, but winning on the road tonight in the crucial game 5, Habs or Utah?
Oh God, I got to make that call without my heart being involved in it. And they're the exact same number. I mean, I love the Habs, but I think the Mammoth probably have the better shot of going into Vegas and winning tonight.
I kind of lean on that too.
Yeah, I think so.
Chat, if I gave you $10 and you had to put it on either Habs money line or Utah money line, where are you throwing it? Where are you throwing it?
Like a Tampa, Pittsburgh, Mammoth 3-gamers plus 667. It could also go Lightning, Mammoth, and then in that Pittsburgh Philly game, take the under 6.5 because that's minus 161, and that would get it to plus 521. I mean, those Pittsburgh Philly games, it's not like there's been 35 shots aside. They're playing pretty tight.
No, that is not bad at all. Do you want to? Why don't we do a point, like a prop?
Sure.
A little prop parlay.
Okay, give me this. Let's see.
So what do we like? By the way, Sid did come up with those 2 points last game when we were talking about that. Remember?
Yeah, I did. 2 assists, right? He had 2 assists in that game.
So points in this game. Logan Cooley point minus 159, I think. What do you have for Cooley?
Okay, give me 1 sec here. I was over on the Habs Lightning game. Let's see. Cooley point. Logan Cooley points. Minus 161.
I don't mind that.
Okay, so we started there. And then
is there anyone on Vegas that we want? Well, let's just see some of these other ones. I think if we're looking at Tampa, Hagel minus 225. Point has been sort of quiet.
Point's been quiet. I don't know if I'd really want to get too involved on that. Where? Oh, that's over 1.5 points. I was going to say, what's he doing further down the list? Nick Suzuki's minus 278. Hagel with the series that he's had, Huss, at minus 238. If we're just doing like a little 3-point player prop, don't necessarily hate that.
Hagel for sure.
Yeah. Cooley, Hagel. And then what do we do in that Pittsburgh-Philly game?
We go, let's see, player points for this one. Obviously, Sid will be at the top of that list. How about Rust?
What's that number at?
I'm seeing minus 133.
Yeah, I got minus 135. Carlson's minus 172. Martone's minus 141. What's Rust's game log look like here? How's he been playing?
He's playing with Sid. He's
got 2 points in the series. Hasn't had a point in the last 2 games. Just 3 shots on goal. And this would be a spot if Pittsburgh's going to kind of keep her alive here. A guy that's playing 20 minutes for you is probably going to have to step up. I'd be okay with that. I'm okay with Rust or Carlson, actually. Rust at minus 135 or Carlson at minus 172.
Who else should we take someone on the other team as well?
On Philly instead or on Philly as well?
I guess if we just put these two together, Cooley.
Well, we got 3, right? We got Cooley. We got Cooley, Hagel, and let's just say we went with Erik Karlsson or Rust. Karlsson gets it to plus 263, which would be close to plus 3. And Rust would take it to... Well, Rust actually takes it to plus 300. So that's pretty good, actually, for just point prop.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. All right, well, let's do that. You good with Cooley, Hagel, and Rust?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll send that in. What's coming up on WST, buddy?
Well, Dunk's going to jump on. We'll get his insight from the CFL draft, and obviously we'll talk about more of the announcements yesterday. We'll do a little Jets/Moose chat. Dom DiVincentis, the winning goalie for the last couple of games for the Moose, is going to jump on with us. And a little bit more on the upcoming baseball season. We got big-time improvements at our ballpark, Dusty.
Really? Well, that's a great place anyway. What they do?
Like exactly. Well, we're going to see it. They've installed all new LED lighting that can change color immediately and all that stuff. So I think the visuals of what they'll be able to do promo-wise after games is going to be phenomenal, certainly along with entertainment. So yeah, I guess you don't have a schedule yet. Do you know when you're in Winnipeg yet?
No, well, I do know what I have been told is that I have a series where I have like 4 to 5 Bombers games in a row. So I must be in Winnipeg for three of them, maybe. I mean, I tell the people at TSN, I'm only signing for another year if I get at least 8 trips to Winnipeg for the Tendies. Yeah. It's a big time negotiating, ploy that I have, and it's worked out pretty well so far. So I'll see you in Winnipeg.
Well, we've got the 2 schedules, and we can work it so that we get you out.
I'd like to get back to a baseball game again, yeah.
During the day, and then day before the game, we'll be able to go down to the ballpark. That would be fun. But yeah, lots of playoff talk too. Looking forward to it. Let's get a win tonight, and let's see if we'll be getting a game 7 with Sid and the upstart Penguins after being left for dead.
And give us overtime. Give us 2 overtimes tonight. We'll take that at 17-1. All right, you have a good show today, House. I'll talk to you tomorrow, buddy.
Take it easy, dude.
All right, there you go. That is Huss from Winnipeg Sports Talk. And his show's getting going here at high noon. Same time that we'll get going with the oil stream. Oh, Hernan's playing me out again. Unbelievable with this guy. disagree on a couple CFL things. And look at this. He's playing me out.
No, I'm just playing the music.
Oh,
You
I
can keep
gotta go.
talking.
No, we sent that over. There's a bunch. I mean, the EST specials page is filling up. Shout out to the grandest. They're at plus 1,200. Our Lock Shop partner parlay, Ty parlay, is at plus 1,750. What the grandest do? Zegras, 2+ shots on goal. Scotty Barnes dropping 20. Okamoto, 2+ runs, hits, and RBIs. And Scooble, 7 strikeouts at plus 1,200. Find them all on the EST specials page. Play Alberta, title sponsor of Lock Shop and everything we do here at EST. Thank you very much for joining us on the Lock Shop. Best of luck if you're riding with us tonight. We'll talk to you tomorrow.